You want to know how a god ends up in a gutter? How the white serpent of the eastern skies, terror of 1,000 battlefields, becomes a pet named Cute. It starts with betrayal. My fathers, my brothers, the entire celestial court clapping as I fell. But that's not the story you came for. You came for the mortal who picked me up. The one who called me beautiful while I was still bleeding. The one I decided to keep. This is Yaoi Darkroom. We tell stories about obsession wearing a pretty face. About love that leaves marks. If that makes your heart beat faster, press subscribe. Now, before I change my mind. Good, you stayed. Now listen. My father threw me out like spoiled meat. One moment I was standing in the celestial court, gold at my feet, enemies chained to my throne. The next I was falling, screaming. My cultivation, 500 years of it, compressed into a cold, useless knot in my chest. My limbs shrank, scales pushed through my skin. I became this, a white snake, no bigger than a man's forearm. I landed in a garbage heap, the stench of rotting cabbage and old fish. A woman screamed. Children gathered. They threw stones. One hit my flank. I hissed. They laughed. I, who had eaten ambassadors and toppled dynasties, was being pelted by children. I coiled tighter, my golden eyes burning. If I could have shifted, I would have turned that street into a crater. But I could not. I was helpless. Then I saw him. A young man. White hair, wind-tossed. A worn backpack. He pushed through the crowd like he belonged there. He knelt in front of me, too close, too fearless, and said, "That's not a venomous snake. It's a rare white python. Someone's pet, probably. You're scaring it." "Feisty," he said. "I like you." He reached for me. I struck. My fangs sank into his finger. He did not even bleed. He chuckled. "Feisty," he said again. And then he picked me up. His hands were gentle. He cradled me against his chest, and I felt his heartbeat, steady, warm, infuriatingly calm. "Shoo," he said. "I've got you. You're safe now. Safe. I have slaughtered thousands. I have made armies kneel. And this mortal called me safe." I hated him immediately. He took me to his apartment. Small. Cluttered. Books everywhere, biology texts, fantasy novels, a sketchbook on the floor. He set me on a blanket and cleaned the cut on my side. His fingers traced my scales. "Your scales look like moonlight," he murmured. "And your eyes? They're like burning gold. I've never seen anything like you. Beautiful." He called me beautiful. No one had said that since my mother died, 1,000 years ago. I should have been pleased. I was furious, because I noticed the way his hair fell over his forehead. The way his lips moved when he talked to himself. The way his fingers lingered on my scales longer than necessary. I hated that I noticed. "I need to name you," he said. He thought for a moment. "How about Mai? It means white. Simple. Goo. Goo." He named me Cute. I am the white serpent of the eastern skies. My title requires 3 breaths to speak. And he called me Cute. I hissed. He laughed. "You don't like it? Too bad. Bye it is." I decided then that I would kill him first. As soon as I regained my power, I would wrap around his throat and squeeze until his eyes popped. That was the plan. The plan changed. Not because I wanted it to, because the world is cruel and gods are not exempt. Midnight. The seal loosened. My body twisted, stretched, reformed. Scales became skin. My limbs returned. I stood in the middle of his cluttered apartment, naked and furious. The door was locked. He was gone. I walked to the door. Locked. I tried the handle. Nothing. "Foolish mortal lock," I muttered. "I will simply open." I raised my hand, called on my cultivation. The tiny knot of power in my chest flickered. A spark. Then nothing. I said open. Nothing. I tried every spell I knew. Fireball? A pathetic puff of smoke? Then nothing. Telekinesis? A book fell off the shelf. Servant. Attends-moi. Silence. I stood there, panting, furious, my dignity in tatters. If my brothers could see me now, they would laugh until they choked. I opened his fridge. Raw meat. I ate it all, chicken, beef, something pickled that I immediately regretted. Then I saw a strange box with buttons. I pressed one. Nothing. I pressed more. The box sparked. I jumped back. Cowardly mortal contraption, I hissed. It did not answer. I curled in a corner, on the cold floor, and passed out. Humiliated. Hungry. Alone. I dreamed of the mortal's hands. His voice. The way he said, beautiful. I woke up more confused than angry. I did not like that. He came back the next afternoon. The apartment was in ruins. Books scattered. Blankets torn. The refrigerator door hanging open. Bye, he shouted. He found me in the corner, in snake form, pretending to be asleep. What happened? Are you hurt? He picked me up. His hands were warm. They ran over my scales, checking for wounds, and I wanted to hiss. Instead, I leaned into his touch. His fingers were gentle. They traced the line of my spine, and my stupid, traitorous body relaxed. I'm sorry I left you alone, he said softly. I won't stay out so late again. Sorry. He was sorry. A god, an immortal was sorry for leaving him alone. I wanted to tell him that I had destroyed his room, that I was not a pet, that I was the terror of the eastern skies. But all I could do was lie there, coiled in his hands, feeling his heartbeat against my scales. I fell asleep to the sound of his voice. I did not dream of revenge. I dreamed of his fingers. That was worse. A few days later, another mortal came. Tall, handsome in a slimy way, with a smile that did not reach his eyes. Miho. He touched my human's arm too long. He laughed too loudly. You still have that snake? I'm terrified of snakes. But for you, I'll try. My human Yunjae picked me up. He's harmless. See? I hissed at Miho. He flinched. Wow, he doesn't like me. Maybe he's jealous. Jealous. The word should have offended me. Instead, it tasted like truth. I watched the way Miho's fingers brushed Yoon-jae's wrist, the way he leaned close, the way his eyes lingered on Yoon-jae's neck. If anyone else touches you, I will kill them myself. That thought came from somewhere dark and deep, and I did not push it away. If anything happens to that snake, Miho whispered, too quiet for Yoon-jae to hear. You'd be devastated, wouldn't you? You're so attached. That was a threat. I knew threats. I had made them myself 1,000 times. That night, Miho stayed late. Yoon-jae fell asleep on the couch. Miho watched him. Then he leaned down and kissed Yoon-jae's forehead. Too slowly, too deliberately. I struck the glass of my enclosure. The sound was loud in the quiet room. Miho looked at me. His eyes were cold. You don't like me much, do you, snake? He left. I thrashed against the glass, but I could not break it. I could not do anything. I was a snake, pet, helpless. How dare he touch what was mine? The next day, I made a decision. I was a prince. I did not need a peasant. I would find my own way back to the celestial realm. I slithered out the window when Yoon-jae was in the bathroom. I did not find my way back. Children threw stones again. A dog chased me. I got lost in an alley, cold and alone, my golden eyes scanning empty streets. Then I heard his voice. Bye? Bye? He was calling me. I stayed still. Pride kept me coiled behind a dumpster. He ran past me. Then he saw a white shape in the gutter, not me, a plastic bag, and he ran into the street. Car was coming. He was not looking at the car. He was looking for me. Yoon-jae! Someone shouted. Time slowed. The car barreled toward him. He reached for the plastic bag. And then, I do not know what came over me. I slithered out from behind the dumpster. I crossed the street. I coiled at his feet. He looked down. Saw me. Bye? He scooped me up, just as the car swerved. It missed us by inches. He stumbled to the sidewalk, clutching me against his chest, panting, trembling. Don't ever run away again, he gasped. I can't lose you. He almost died. For me, immortal. For me. I did not understand why. But I knew then that I would never leave him, and that terrified me more than any battle. That night, Yoon-jae was studying. The clock struck midnight. I felt the seal loosen. My body began to change. Yoon-jae looked up. His eyes went wide. "Bye? What's happening?" My scales receded. My limbs reformed. I grew and grew, until I was standing in the middle of his room, tall and silver-haired and golden-eyed, naked as the day I was hatched. He screamed, fell off his chair, crawled backward until he hit the wall. "What are you?" I stepped closer. He flinched. "Your pet," I said. "The one you named Cute. You're a monster?" I crouched down. Eye level with him. He was shaking. His pulse fluttered in his throat. His lips were parted. And despite his fear, his eyes were tracing the lines of my shoulders, my chest, my jaw. He was afraid, but he was also looking. "Your eyes? They're gold," he whispered. "Like the snake." I leaned closer. He did not retreat. "I am a snake prince, banished by my father, trapped in scales by day. And you have been holding me, touching me, calling me beautiful." His breath caught. "You are not running," I observed. "My legs won't move," he whispered. "Good," I said, "because I would have caught you." He licked his lips. I watched his tongue. His cheeks flushed. "You're not going to eat me?" "Not tonight," I said. His eyes widened. "That was a joke." "Was it?" I smiled. He swallowed. I told him about my banishment, my seal, my curse. He listened, arms wrapped around his knees. "So you killed people for fun." "I eliminated the weak." "That's the same thing." "Semantics." He was quiet for a moment. Then, "Why are you still here? If you're so powerful, leave." My jaw tightened. "I cannot." "So you need me." "I need no one." "Then leave." I did not move. He sighed. "You can stay, but stop threatening me." "I do not threaten. I state facts." "Then state this fact. You're in my house. You eat my food. I saved your life. You owe me." I glared at him. He glared back. For a mortal, he had remarkable nerve. "Fine," I said. "I will stay. Temporarily." He smiled. A small smile, tired and relieved, and it transformed his face. I noticed the way his eyes crinkled, the way his dimple appeared, the way he tucked his hair behind his ear, a nervous habit. I wanted to see that smile again. I hated myself for wanting. The nights became a routine. I shifted at midnight. He studied. I paced. He pretended not to watch me, but I caught him staring. His eyes followed the lines of my shoulders, the fall of my hair. When he thought I wasn't looking, his gaze lingered on my mouth, on my hands, on the column of my throat. I decided to test him. I stepped behind his chair, leaned down. My lips brushed his ear. "You are staring," I murmured. He jumped. His pen skidded across his notebook. "I was not," he said too quickly. "You were. I do not mind. You may look." He turned his head. Our faces were inches apart. His breath caught. His eyes dropped to my lips, just for a second. But I saw it. "Can you not breathe while I work?" he whispered. "I am not breathing. I am observing." Same thing.
No.
Staring is for prey. Observing is for choosing. I caged him against the desk. His heart hammered. I could hear it, smell the change in his scent. He was afraid, but he was also aroused. I could see it in the flush on his cheeks, the way his pupils dilated, the way his breath came faster. "I have watched you," I said low. "You talk to me. You feed me. You called me beautiful. You threw yourself in front of a car for me. I didn't want you to die," he breathed. "No mortal has ever done that for me. They scream. They run. They beg. You picked me up from the gutter and named me Cute." His lips twitched. "You're still mad about that?" "I have decided," I said, ignoring his mockery. "You are my mate. You will bear my heirs." "What?" His face went through several expressions. Shock, disbelief, panic, and then, something I did not expect, a flush of red across his cheeks. "You're insane. I am obsessed. There is a difference." I kissed him. Not gentle. Not tentative. I had waited centuries to feel something, and now that I felt it, I was not going to be polite. He froze. His hands pressed against my chest. To push me away, I thought. But they did not push. They curled into my shirt. He kissed me back. He tasted like tea and something sweet. His lips were soft. His tongue was shy at first, then bolder. I groaned against his mouth. Mine, I said between kisses. I don't. I bit his lower lip gently. He gasped. Say it. Yours, he whispered. Again. Yours. I'm yours. I picked him up, carried him to the bed, laid him down. I hovered over him, drinking in the sight of him, flushed, trembling, beautiful. I will not take you tonight, not all the way, but I will mark you. I will make sure you know who you belong to. I kissed down his neck. His pulse fluttered under my lips. I bit down and not hard enough to draw blood, but enough to leave a mark. He moaned. The sound went straight through me. You are mine. Forever. He looked up at me, eyes dark, lips swollen. Forever is a long time. Good. Kissed him again. Slower. Deeper. His hands slid under my shirt. His fingers traced my spine. I shivered. I, who had never shivered in battle, shivered at the touch of a mortal. You feel warm, he whispered. I am cold-blooded. You don't feel cold. That is because you are burning me. He smiled. That smile. I wanted to keep it. I mapped his body with my hands. His shoulders. His ribs. The dip of his waist. He arched into every touch, every kiss, every whispered word. Say my name. Theron. Again. Theron. Mine. Yours. We stayed like that until dawn. Him in my arms. Me watching him sleep. I traced the mark on his neck. Red. Possessive. Perfect. You are mine, I whispered, though he could not hear. And I am never letting you go. I shifted back at dawn. He woke up alone, the marks on his neck red and tender. He touched them, smiled. Bye, he whispered. What are you doing to me? I watched from the corner, coiled on his pillow. My golden eyes were soft. I hated that they were soft, but I did not look away. He reached for me, picked me up, pressed me to his chest. You're warm, he murmured. Snakes aren't supposed to be warm. I hissed. He laughed, and I thought I could stay here forever. In his hands, in his heart, in his ridiculous, cluttered apartment. I did not tell him that I had already decided, that I would burn down the celestial realm before I let anyone take me from him, that he was no longer a pet owner. He was my mate, and I was his. The messenger came at midnight. A small green snake slithered through the window, spoke in the old tongue. Your father demands your return. A bride has been chosen. You will marry, or your cultivation will be stripped forever. No, it is not a choice. The messenger vanished. Yoon-jae had heard. You're leaving. I have no choice. Then go. I grabbed his arm. You think I want to? I think you're a prince and I'm a mortal and this was never going to end any other way. I pulled him close. I will return. No matter what. Don't promise what you can't keep. I am a prince. I do not break promises. We spent the night together. Heated. Desperate. He clung to me like I was the only thing keeping him alive. I love you, he whispered. I hate that I love you, but I do. I kissed his forehead, his cheeks, his lips. I know. At dawn I shifted. He woke up alone. The snake was gone. I returned to my father's court. A bride awaited a pale, simpering creature with empty eyes. Do not touch me. Do not speak to me. You are a duty. Nothing more. She reached for me. I stepped back. My prince. I said no. I sent my servants to watch over Yoon-jae. They reported back. He is sad, but he studies. He smiles sometime. The worm. He tries. Your human does not let him close. Good. Months passed. I grew bitter. My bride tried everything. Silk robes. Perfume. False smiles. Nothing worked. One night she came to my chambers. Perhaps if you tried. I am leaving, I said. My father can keep his throne. I nominate it to whoever wants it. I abandoned the celestial realm. I arrived at the edge of the crowd, cap and gown, smiling faces, and there he was, Yoonjae. He saw me. His face went slack. Then he was running, pushing through people, throwing himself into my arms. You came. I told you. I keep promises. I kissed him, deep, public, unashamed. From across the crowd, I saw Miho watching. His face was dark. His hands were fists. I smiled at him. He looked away. That night, alone at last, I pressed him against the door. You will still bear my heirs. He laughed, that beautiful, infuriating laugh. You're still on that? I told you, that's not how it works. I am a snake god. I will make it work. And my career? My life. You will never work a day in your life. I have gold, scales, treasure hoards. You are set for eternity. Eternity. You are my mate. You will live as long as I do. I already decided. He shook his head, smiling. You're impossible. But you love me. Unfortunately, he never did figure out how to make me bear an heir. But he never stopped trying. And I never stopped loving him. They say snake kings cannot love. They are cold-blooded. They are cruel. They are wrong. Because when he holds me at night, when he whispers my true name, not cute, but Theron, I feel something I have not felt in 5 centuries. Warmth. And I am never letting go. This has been Yaoi Dark Room. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe. New dark romance every week. The dark is warmer with company. I'll see you next time.